kick off our morning service. So welcome to One Heart, One Mind, Center for Spiritual Living's Sunday service in our online community. And Richard, I'm going to invite you to kick us off.
Yeah, here's something by Michael Gott called Love Can Move the World. Just one life, that's all that we've been given. Just one chance to make a difference where we live. I'm just one person, I'm only human. But only human means I've got a lot to give. Just look around, there's someone hurting near you. Look around, there must be something you can do. Look within you, find your spirit. To change the world, there's got to be a change in you. Love can move the world as the moon in the sky moves the sea. Love can cause the wars to cease. Love can move the world to peace. It's a tide that begins with you and me. Love can move the world as the warmth of the sun moves the tree. Feel the winds of love increase as we move the world to peace. Come love the world with me. Come love the world with me. Indeed.
Thank you, Richard. Come love the world with me. Good morning again, and I would like to invite our practitioner of the day, Ralane Clarke, to do our opening prayer. Good morning, Ralane.
Good morning.
Are you flying solo today, or is Jim there with you?
Jim will be coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love to see him. Well, good morning.
Oh, good morning. All right, so let's just take an opportunity to close our eyes and take a deep breath together and just feel the loving presence of spirit as the gentle music kind of brings us into that place of knowingness and oneness and connection and flow, just feeling that interconnection between each and every one of us with spirit flowing very beautifully and largely and wonderfully, even connecting with those that aren't here today and beyond. And so what I know for this morning is that it is just a beautiful flow of energy that reverberates and continues throughout our day and our week. And that the message from Reverend Michelle and the music and all of us and our presence reverberates an energy that is just very loving and gentle and strong at the same time, affirming all the beautifulness of our being, of our beingness. And so I'm so grateful for this time together. I'm so grateful for the shift in consciousness. And I just release it with gratitude and love and simply say with all of you, and so it is.
And so it is.
As I approach the beginning of my week, I think about who I am and how I might allow myself to express who I am in my daily life. Having clarity and a desire to be a kind and gentle and loving person, feeling deeper compassion and connection with those around me. With love leading the way, I pray to reach out and connect with as many people and animals and wildlife and with nature, holding a strong belief to be who I am and no longer holding back. giving myself an opportunity to see myself as I am. Even if I miss the mark, I continue to have a calm and firm expectancy that being me is the theme of my life. And if I'm being myself, I never really miss the mark. And there's always next week. With gratitude, love, compassion, and kindness, I am being is my prayer. And so what I'd like us to do is just take a moment to feel your beingness. What is your theme of your life? And if you think about I am being, just take a moment and feel what that feels like within yourself. If I am being is your prayer. Well, I feel a lot of unique beings here in expression, and I'm most grateful. And I think we have an affirmation for January. Michelle, do you want to share that? As the new year dawns, I invite spirit within to guide me, to live deeply with purpose, live wisely with humility, live gratefully with generosity, live fully with loving kindness, and to daily renew my heart. And so it is.
Thank you, Ralane. I loved your words. I loved what you had to say. That was beautiful. And Richard, do you have some more music for us?
Yes, we have a Daniel Nahmod song called Planting Seeds. And it's about giving ourselves a break from judgment and just kind of let things flow. I've been planting seeds on the ground, watering them with my sweat and tears, scattering them all around. Guess it's what I'm supposed to do with my years. Funny thing is, I may know what I've planted, but never what will show. Always seems to be a perfect mystery. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. Sometimes I like to pretend I know what the harvest will be, but I always find out in the end it was never really up to me. Funny thing is, when I just do my work and simply trust, it always seems that life is looking out for me. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. And I am only one of billions of of seeds. And when it's all said and done, I just do what's mine to do and just let it be. Whatever grows will grow, whatever flies will fly, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. I am planting seeds, nothing more. Bless us all.
Thank you, Richard. I suggested that song for this morning because that's really what we're talking about today, is about planting seeds. That's what we're always doing, right? But we get to talk about doing it consciously and where we're going to get the seeds. What seed store are we going to go to? So we're going to talk about that today. And once again, good morning and welcome to our One Heart, One Mind online community. Last week, I spoke briefly about the magnificence of our human bodies, and how awe-inspiring it is to think about how well designed they are. These human bodies are amazing things. Our brains and our bodies have evolved over millions of generations, and they've enabled us to survive in an ever-changing environment for millions of years. And they've allowed us to become the people that we are today, for all its good and all its glory. It served us well. And our bodies are perfectly designed to take in all kinds of information about the world around us through our five senses. And this information allows us to navigate through our physical world. Our bodies are perfectly designed to help us learn from our past experiences so that we don't repeat the mistakes that we made and injure or harm ourselves in some way, either physically or emotionally. We're just these amazing adaptive creatures, and it's truly incredible to me when I think about the intelligence and the order and the harmony that is expressed through us and our human lives into all of reality. I'm awed when I think about the power behind all creation that has allowed life to flourish and grow and continue to evolve, because we are. And as we've grown and evolved through the millions of years and generations, we're also learning that these human bodies we live in are perfectly designed to support and empower us in expressing the very best life has to offer in and through our human lives. The very best. We are endowed by our Creator with the power to co-create and to express the goodness of God, of Spirit, in its fullest. Although as I look around the world today, I realize we still have a lot of growing and evolving to do in some areas. However, I really feel like a growing number of people on the planet are discovering what wonderful tools our human brains and bodies can be for us when we learn how to use them in conscious union with the divine in a very conscious way. Many of us are learning that we can and do express the greater mind or the greater consciousness of the Creator itself in and through and as our lives. Call this present what you will, God, Spirit, the divine, the thing itself, whatever. It doesn't change the nature of the power of this presence. We as human beings have evolved to do more than just survive in a hostile environment. We're evolving to co-create, to literally bring heaven to earth, and to express the perfection of God in this physical realm that we live in this physical world. And it really takes us developing trust in life to be able to do this, to have a strong desire to express this good, to believe that it's possible, and then to expect it, to have some expectation that it will demonstrate in our life in a perfect way. It's honestly, it's pretty amazing, really. Sorry about that. I'm gonna take a little drink of water here. Now, I don't know about you, but I got a lot of voices going on in my head, a lot of them. And sometimes I'm just not really sure what to believe. You know, I got the voice of the common culture telling me how things should be and what my place is in the world. I've got the voice of my past experiences telling me what to do, what not to do, what to stay away from to keep myself safe, what's possible and what isn't. All the well-meaning voices of my grandparents and my parents and my teachers and the authority figures that I've known throughout my life, they're all still in there. But I also have another voice, and that's the quiet knowing, the quiet feeling of wisdom that bubbles up in me. It pops in from time to time. Sometimes it isn't even a voice. Usually it isn't even a voice. It's a feeling, a knowing so deep that I know it came from a presence that is wiser than any human source, you know, that it comes from the infinite self, the one that encompasses and supports me, and it supports all of us. It's my intuitive voice. You know that voice? It's a wise knowing without knowing why or how. Ernest Holmes, our founder, says that this intuitive voice, what did he say? He said that it is the voice of God in mankind, revealing to us the realities of our being. A little quote from him. He wrote, "The spirit of man seems to have an external and an internal perception." Those two voices. Its external perception is by appearance. Its internal, through intuition. Its external perception is by appearance, its internal through intuition. And then he goes on to stress that if we live only by the external perception, the ways of the world, it'll limit us from living the possibilities that are available to us through that intuitive knowing. You know, if we just shine it on, we're never going to be able to get that goodness. And the possibilities available to us through our oneness with God are endless and infinite. You know, for some reason, when I was, this often actually happens to me, when I was preparing today's message, a scene from an old movie popped into my head. You may recognize it. If you're old enough, you'll recognize it. It's a movie called The End. And it was released in 1978. And the main characters that played were Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise. I think both of them have long made their transition. That's how old it is. And the story went that Burt Reynolds, who is really the main character, wanted to end his life, you know, the end. And he tried all these ways to kill himself, and he was unsuccessful. And finally, he had someone take him out in the ocean in a boat, a couple of miles off the shore, and then just drop him off, leave him out there in the water, thinking that he was going to drown himself. And after the boat leaves, he suddenly has a change of heart, an intuitive knowing, you know what? I'm actually not ready to die. He decides he wants to live. And so he starts swimming to the shore, but he doesn't think he can make it. And so he starts asking God for help. He starts negotiating with God. And he tells God that if he saves him now, he'll stop trying to kill himself and he'll be a better father and a better man. He says he'll be a better everything. And then he says, all I ask is that you make me a better swimmer. So as he's swimming, he keeps negotiating and he says, let me live and I promise to obey every one of the 10 commandments. And then he says, I promise to learn the 10 commandments. He's having a good bargain session with God. And he says he'll be honest in business. And then he says, I'll give you 50% of everything I make. And then he starts to see the land out there in front of him in the distance, but he realizes suddenly that he's going to make it. He's going to live. And as he gets closer to the shore, his negotiations with God start to change a bit. The percentage that he's going to donate to God's work begins to get smaller until finally he reaches the shore and he says he's going to start donating that 10% right away. And then he adds, I know, I said 50%, but you know what? 10% really is the going rate. It's a really funny scene. If you can hear me, let's see, I'm getting a little bit more and more hoarse. Anyway, the takeaway from the scene for us as metaphysicians is that when we only listen to the voice of the world, the reasons why life is so bad, the reasons why we don't want to be here, or to our past experiences, we limit ourselves to recreating only from those old patterns and experiences. Someone actually needs to mute. I'll help you out. We just limit ourselves to those past experiences that we've already walked through, just like Reynolds, you know, he finally heard that life-affirming voice within him telling him that it wasn't his time to die, and that it was possible for him to swim all the way back to shore. It is possible. And what makes the story funny and actually pretty realistic is that just when he's experienced kind of the miracle of his belief coming to fruition, not because he was bargaining with God, but because he believed it was possible, after he succeeded because he believed there was a power greater than himself empowering him, then he slipped right back into the old habits and the old ways of the world. You know, that the voice in him said, I'm all in, I'll do everything. I believe this is possible. And that suddenly started to dwindle away. Well, really, 10% is the going rate. But it wasn't the bargaining that got him there. It was his belief that it was possible, that there was a power greater than him that was helping him swim back to shore. You know, I'm reminded of that wonderful poem. I love this poem by Howard Thurman that says, keep fresh before me the moments of my high regard or my high resolve, I believe it is. It's reminding us that there are those moments, those intuitive knowing moments when, wow, we just get it. We just know, we feel it. Those are the moments I want to keep fresh before me. You know, I have come to believe that to use these amazing bodies, these vehicles for the expression of God on earth to their fullest, to consciously co-create using the creative process that Science of Mind teaches, we have to do a few things. First, we got to know who we are. Not only who we are as human beings, but who we are in God, in our oneness with our Creator. We must come to understand in our own unique way that the divine presence exists within us, that it exists everywhere, including right where we are. You know, that's the omnipresence of God. And that it's personal to us because, as Ernest Holmes said, it is personalized and individualized in and through us. And as we develop and expand our awareness and our experience with this presence, you know, our relationship, that's why we develop this relationship. So it's so close to us. Then we're ready to move into the advanced course, which is to put into action the good and the infinite possibilities that are available to us through this oneness, to consciously use the creative law to express the good of God that we are one with. And the main tool that we use in Science of Mind, in our Science of Mind teaching, to consciously participate with that creative law is spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. And I'm sure you know that Science of Mind treatment is a unique way of praying that doesn't petition something or someone outside ourselves to grant us something special, to have mercy on us or reward us for being good, for all of our good deeds. It's designed to support us in consciously participating with a law that responds to our thoughts and our feelings and our state of being. Science of Mind is participating with spiritual mind treatment spiritual mind treatment is participating within impersonal law that responds to all alike, to everyone the same. Saints and sinners, heroes and villains. You know, it's just like the soil will germinate any seed that we planted in there, whether it's tomatoes or whether it's weeds. It doesn't care. It's impersonal. It responds to everything alike. But the conditions must be right. As the gardeners, we have to cultivate the soil. And for us, the soil is our consciousness. We have to cultivate the soil of our consciousness. So what do we need to do or be to consciously cultivate the soil, to use creative law in our lives in a conscious way? You know, we have to start with our desire. We have to start with a clear, heartfelt desire for a particular outcome. Not just an iffy, half-hearted, I think this will, I think I want this, I'm not sure. No, that's not gonna work. And we have to think, when we have that strong desire, we have to be able to believe in some way that it is possible for that desire to demonstrate in our lives. We have to have a belief in the desire's possibility, if you will. We have to believe that it's definitely possible for this desire to manifest itself, whatever it is, our health, a relationship, prosperity, you know, whatever it is. We have to actually believe. If I start treating that, you know, I'm going to see a cow jump over the moon, I'm probably not going to, because honestly, I don't believe that's possible. You know, if we're asking for something we don't really believe in, it won't demonstrate for us. You know, an example that I can give you from my life is, you know, I may be able to believe that $20,000 can demonstrate into my life, but my belief may not yet support the idea that $1 million will demonstrate into my life. You know, but I can grow and expand and change that belief as I grow and expand in my oneness and my knowingness with the divine. But for starters, it needs to be something we believe is possible. So we have a desire, we believe that it's possible. And finally, we must have an expectancy of the desired outcome. You know, now to be clear, an expectancy is different than an expectation. An expectation is thinking that it will happen exactly like this, that it will demonstrate in exactly this way. We've already written the script. That's an expectation. An expectancy is just a knowing that I have set this desire through my belief and my feeling into law, and it will demonstrate. I have an expectation that my prayer will be answered. I have an expectation that my good will come. The same way in which I have I'm sorry, I said expectation, I mean expectancy. The same way I have an expectancy that the sun's going to rise in the east in the morning and set in the west. You know, I have to know it and have an expectancy that it is going to happen. You know, just like, you know, I know that the light's going to come on when I flip the switch. You know? And if I don't, then I'm going to figure out why, because it's a law. So let's talk about desire a little bit more deeply for a minute. You know, Holmes had a wonderful definition for desire, and it's worth sharing with you here. I found it in the glossary of the Science of Mind text. Let me see if I can find I wrote it down. Let me see if I can find it in my notes here. And there it is. Okay, so here's what Holmes said about desire. It's basically what I already said, but it's kind of nice to hear from his words. Half-hearted wishing should not be confused with desire. You know, I can't well, maybe it's possible. Half-hearted wishing should not be confused with desire. Our wishing is always capricious. We long for one thing today, and tomorrow our attention is directed elsewhere. Desire is something that impels us to reach out and take our own. This is the divine urge, which operating as law produces energy. This means that the legitimate desire is the voice of spirit within you. Have you ever felt that? That legitimate desire, like you just know that this is yours to do, or that this is going to come about. You know, we might think of it in terms of having a burning desire. You know, something, let's see, how can I explain? Something that hits you right in the core spirit within you. And, you know, it's something that's not going to change tomorrow, but that is a constant. I could use the example of my call to ministry. I tried not to listen to that stinking call to ministry for years. You know, I really tried to ignore that desire that was burning within me. You know, I had all kinds of arguments why this desire should just go away, but of course it didn't. I had it within me, a burning desire to be in service in this way. And truth be told, it has been extremely fulfilling in ways that I could never really have imagined. Now, could this desire have demonstrated in other ways? I think it could have. Could I have gotten the same sense of fulfillment and of being in service in other ways? Probably. But this way was the way that was just right for me. So my desire to be fulfilled and in service was answered through my call to ministry. And for you, it will probably be something else, something that is personal and unique to you. You know, but by getting clear on that desire, that's the first step. That's key. And if you don't know exactly what you'd like to demonstrate, you certainly know how you want to feel. You want to feel as I did, in service and fulfilled personally. You know how you want to feel, and that is desire enough. And your desire just isn't always what you think it is. You know, connect with that feeling first. I heard an old story about a woman who she said that she had a great desire to become a great typist. Now, not even something that we would probably do today. I told you it was an old story. She wanted to be a great typist because at the time she worked as a data entry person. And the faster she could type, the more data cards she could enter and the more money she would make. And her teacher at the time asked her why she wanted to make more money. And she said she'd like to save enough money to buy a house for her and her mother. She worried about her mother who was living alone and wanted to have her with her and so she could care for her. So while she thought her desire was to be a faster typist, that was really just a means desire. The end desire was really so that she could be able to care for her mother. She wanted to find a way to demonstrate that feeling of love and care that she had from her mother, to live that in her life. And probably an infinite number of ways that desire could have demonstrated for her personally. But this was the way that was unique for her and for her mother. And, you know, the good news is, as we say all the time in Science of Mind, we do not have to know the how. We do not have to know how the demonstration will, what human channels will bring the demonstration of this particular desire. Our job is to feel the what and to believe in our heart that it's possible. And you know what? True desires tend to bubble up, just like my call to ministry. It kept bubbling up. It woke me up in the middle of the night one time, and I finally didn't have any choice but to just listen to it. So I did. And you know, once I made that decision, everything I needed to do to go to ministerial school, to do everything I needed, just fell into place. Synchronicities started to show up and coincidences that I never could have planned on my own. There's a beautiful quote by Paramahansa Yogananda in his book, Autobiography of a Yogi. And it reads, and this just goes right along with what we're talking about. The human mind is a spark of the almighty consciousness of God. The human mind is a spark of the almighty consciousness of God. I could show you that whatever your powerful mind believes very intensely would instantly come to pass. Now, I don't know about instantly, but you know, maybe that's just my growing edge. Maybe other people can demonstrate instantly. I don't seem to be there yet. But I do believe that our minds in our oneness with God are powerful and will demonstrate what we believe. Actually, a better way to put it is that the law demonstrates for us who we believe we are and what we believe is possible for us. As we embody our beliefs, we become them. We become a state of gratitude and embodiment of love or compassion or prosperity or vitality and health. We become what we believe. And I've come to believe that we demonstrate who we believe we are and what's possible for us in every situation. I believe I said it last week that if our conscious mind and our subjective mind aren't in alignment, it's not going to, the desire is not going to demonstrate for us if we don't believe it's true. I think I've told this story before, but I thought of it as I was preparing, so I was going to share it. Several years ago, I was listening to this video, a presentation by both Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra. It had to be a while ago because Wayne Dyer made his transition a few years ago. And Dyer asked Chopra this question. He said, if there is no separation between you and I, then why can't I wiggle your toes? And without missing a beat, Chopra said, because you don't believe you can. And I never forgot that. Our beliefs regulate the flow of the good, of the divine good that is able to move through us. And if I don't truly believe something is possible, as I said, if my conscious and my subconscious mind aren't in alignment, it's not going to be able to demonstrate in my life. And that's why we take the time to make sure that the ideas, the feelings, because the subjective mind is the world of heart and feeling, that we feel what we want to demonstrate. And of course, the final ingredient to participating with creative law successfully is that expectancy again. And as I said earlier, expectancy is not expectation. Expectation is expecting our desire to demonstrate exactly the way that we think it should. Honestly, if all of my desires had matched my expectation of how they were going to demonstrate, they probably wouldn't have, because I don't have all of the information. My how is limited to what I've already experienced and what I already know has happened before. But divine mind, it can go into what's never occurred before in ways that I could never imagine. Expectancy is living your life in the unshakable belief that what you have set into motion through thought and feeling is coming, even though you don't know exactly how it's going to look. I don't know what human channel spirit can use to demonstrate my good. I just don't know. But if I have that undaunted belief, that story of Jesus and the centurion, when the centurion comes to Jesus and he wants him to heal his servant. And the servant was healed at that moment because the centurion believed that desire to heal his servant was possible at the very, very core of his being. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to have that kind of faith and trust in the power of life, that undaunted expectancy. Our inner voice, our intuitive knowing in union with God speaks to us all the time. It speaks clearly to us of our true desires. It calls our heart. It invites us to align what is true and what is possible in God, and to establish that unshakable belief in a life-affirming desire. I think that's important, that it must be life-affirming to us and to everyone that we are in relationship with, which is everyone. And then it'll demonstrate in our experience, in our lives, So this week, as you walk through your day, I invite you to keep your heart open to hear that internal voice, to hear the divine speaking truth to you in its most loving and joyous ways. Listen to that intuitive internal voice. So let's move right into a prayer. If I can do it, my voice is getting a little cracky. So I just know that God is all there is, that it is the fullness of life, that it encompasses everything, all human activity, all everything. It is all that exists. So everything exists within the activity of the divine. And I know that we do too, that our human lives are sourced and provided for, that God is for us and through us and as us. We are one with this divine presence, which contains within it everything. And so I speak my word for and about each and every person on this call, and each and every person that isn't. I speak my word for the whole of collective human consciousness, the experience of our oneness and all life, and the mother herself, to know that the power, the good, the joy, the vitality, the abundance of the divine is available to us through our embodiment of it, through the belief in its possibility. And I just know that we move into that space right here and right now in this moment. And I'm so grateful for this. I'm just so grateful. And I relax in knowing that all is well, and that through these words and these feelings, I have set this truth into motion in a fresh and a new way. So in gratitude, I relax, I release this prayer, and together we say, and so it is. And so it is. I made it. I was wondering there at the beginning. Like, okay, you can do it. Oh, goodness. Oh, thank you, Abigail. Thank you. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about, just that what we believe, who we believe we are, and what we believe is possible for us is what's possible for us. I keep going back to some of the most amazing things that have ever happened to me that I never could have scripted on my own. And some of the testimonies that I read about people who have had these amazing healings and just amazing things that happen in their life, and know that, they're not extraordinary people. They're just ordinary people who believed in the extraordinary. And that's what I want to be as well. I want to be an ordinary person who believes in the extraordinary of the power of God. So you know what? I have absolutely no idea who's doing the conscious giving. I think it might be Rob, but I could be wrong. Lisa, is it you? No? Rob's not on with us right now, so. Well, I'll wait till he comes back, but I will begin it myself. So let's see, I have to get the up on the screen. We have these lovely little tiles that, there's the, no, I still don't have it. What is that? Okay, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to fix this again. Okay, I'm just gonna, there we go. My brain's not working, functioning completely at normal right now. All right, here it is. Here we go. So these are the ways that you can give to our center. And for all those who give in a regular pattern, I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that you can give to the source where you feel spiritually fed. And it's just so appreciated. And it just keeps going. I just was able to give to unexpected income, because I received something out of the blue that I didn't know it was going to come. So I was able to tie $50 on unexpected income. And that always makes me feel really good. Let's see, the next tile. Let's see. It's not going to work. Here, hang on a second. We got to open another tile here. And this is our affirmation.
Michelle, would you like me to read it?
Please, I would love that.
All right. Sacred giving. Everything flows from the nature of God's good. We receive from this flow. We give from this flow. We give in gratitude and love. We have faith in the infinite giving nature of spirit. And so it is.
And so it is.
Beautiful. Thanks for doing that, Ralane. Save my voice. And then I know Yvonne has some announcements for us.
I do. Monday evening, tomorrow evening, we have our prayer group from 6 to 6:20, and we get together and silently prayer, using Zoom, silently pray for one heart, one mind, or whatever you need to pray for. Tuesday evening, we're with our spiritual learning. It's from 6 to 7. And this week we'll be discussing another essay from Ernest Holmes' discussion program titled The Power of Love. And Reverend Michelle will be sending out the essay. I don't think you've sent it out yet.
No, you know what? I'll do it today. And I did want to say that Ralane was going to lead this because knowing that I'm going to be well and healthy, I am flying up to my daughter's house on Tuesday. So I will start the Zoom meeting and everything, but Ralane is the one that's going to lead it for us.
Great, thank you. Then I wanted to remind you all that Sunday, January 22nd, Karen Drucker will present a special online service, including her singing and talk. And please think about it and invite other people to join us. It's all on Zoom. And that's how we got Nan to come and be part of this. So it really works.
I posted it on the ministers board online for our community or our greater organization. And I also put it on the ministerial listserv, and I sent it out to all the ministers in Region 1, which, you know, I'm at the RSC for that. So I have an email. So I'm hoping that we get, and I told everybody to share it with their communities. So, you know, I'm expecting a big crowd.
Well, and it's a very, it's impressive that she's coming to our little group.
It's a demonstration.
Yeah. So I just want to remind you that. And then I also just wanted to give you a reminder that we still have unexpected income. I was happy when I used Venmo to pay my tithe and saw that Reverend Michelle had put her money in there. I said, yes. And I also saw some other people that had put money in there. So that's great. We also have a kindness fund. Remember, if you have someone that you want to send information to about how much you love them or care about them, you can do that by contacting Ralane and or Reverend Michelle. And we also have a daily Science of Mind reading, which is on the CSL YouTube channel. And all of this stuff you can read about in our newsletter. And it's really important in my mind to read the newsletter because you learn a lot that I'm not telling you about that's still there. If I told you about all this stuff, we'd be here for a while. So,
Well, and since Abigail is online, let me just tell everybody, Abigail, you want to talk about your labyrinth walk on Saturday?
Oh, sure. You're all invited if you wish to come. We're praying for a sunny day, at least no rain, you know. We're having a labyrinth walk at our house. And I know Michelle said she would send it out so you can get the address and everything.
Yeah, it's in the newsletter. It's
in the newsletter. So we have a backyard labyrinth and you're all invited. We'd love to have you. I have a couple of poems that are just beautiful and talk about the midnight shores and how we stand on the shore and we, you know, look out and see the beauty and wonder and our life and how that looks. And so we're going to be talking about that and how we bring in other values and virtues and how we want to show up, kind of in a little smidgen of what Michelle was even saying today. So you're invited. It's from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. And bring a snack. We're going to provide water and we'll have a little snack, but we'd appreciate it if you brought a little something that we can eat afterwards. And there's just a love offering, whatever you feel to give. And I want to start our labyrinth walks again. We were kind of closed down over COVID. So this is our first for the new year. So we'd love to have a lovely gathering. So you're welcome. You're all welcome.
And it is fun. It's a beautiful spot. It's quiet. And I always say it takes a second to get your labyrinth legs on. When you first start walking, it's like, you're like, oh, and then you get your labyrinth legs on, which is kind of like this centeredness. And then it just becomes this wonderful meditation.
And I have heard a lot of people say that they get a little wobbly when they start, but you have to realize this labyrinth has been prayed over for many years. So there's a divine energy that is flowing in there and around in that whole backyard area. When I need a little bit of downtime, I go and just sit in the couch that's down there and I just feel the energy. So it is a spiritual walk. It's a spiritual meditation, and it's been proven scientifically that when people walk it, the brainwaves automatically go down into an alpha mode because of the twists and the turns and the rights and lefts. The brain just kind of gets into that flow, and we've had more people. In fact, the last time we had a couple ladies just come to show up and walk, and one lady had never walked a labyrinth, and after she just kept crying. She couldn't figure out why she was crying, but she kept crying. So it does touch a part of you, and even if you go in with an intention, you may come up with a whole different divine idea that was needed to be given to you. So just be open and prepared for whatever shows up. Kind of like Michelle, whatever shows up will be right for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
I wish I could be there with you, but I think I'll be in Petaluma. But
Sure.
next
Well,
time.
we're gonna have more, so it won't be the last.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Yvonne, I kind of.
That's okay, but I do want to say that was put in our newsletter. It was the first thing that you saw in the newsletter, and it was beautifully done. So that's just my my telling you to read the newsletter.
Yeah.
So that's all I have.
Great. Thank you so much, Yvonne.
You're welcome.
And I want to thank Ralane. Oh, hi, Jim. Now I see you. And I want to thank Ralane for her practitioner of the day, beautiful prayer, and Richard for his music, and Ralane for jumping in to read the Thanksgiving. Yeah, Abigail's putting to RSVP if you plan to attend. That's a good idea. Anyway, anybody have anything that they'd like to share, talk about before I completely lose my voice? Richard, oh, the song, hello, and the benediction. I am losing it today. Okay. All right, Richard. Well, let's see. Is Rob got off? Ralane, would you like to do a benediction? I'm not sure. I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
That'd be
thank you.
fine. All right, so let's just take a moment and close our eyes and feel the presence of spirit, feeling the unique souls that are here this morning together, gathering for a higher expression of ourselves and in connection with each other and spirit. And so I'm so grateful for this time together, for Reverend Michelle showing up, even with a sore throat, and for all of you. I'm just so grateful for the love that we share and the connection and the camaraderie and the joy. And so I just release this prayer into divine law, knowing that this prayer and all our prayers are already answered. We simply say, and so it is.
So it is. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, Richard, take it away.
A song we all know. This great light of mine, I'm just letting it shine. Oh, this great light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This great light of mine, I'm just letting it shine, letting it shine, letting it shine, letting it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm just letting it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm just letting it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm just letting it shine, letting it shine, letting it shine, letting it shine. When I go to work, I'm just letting it shine. Oh, when I'm going to work, I'm just letting it shine. When I go to work, I'm just letting it shine, letting it shine, letting it shine, letting it shine. When I go to play, I'm just letting it shine. Oh, when I go to play, I'm just letting it shine. When I go and play, I'm just letting it shine, letting it shine, letting it shine, letting it shine. One more time. This great light of mine, I'm just letting it shine. Oh, this great light of mine, I'm just letting it shine. This great light of mine, I'm just letting it shine. Letting it shine, letting it shine, letting it shine. Indeed.
Thank you, Richard. Great reminder for us. Love that. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say? Abigail.
Sorry, I thought